Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. Happy Sunday to everybody. Weekend's finishing up here. We got the last round of the PGA Championship today. Sadly, I heard that Tiger withdrew yesterday after shooting a +9. He was in last place and probably hurting really bad. It's amazing he even made the cut both here and at the Masters, but I'm not here to talk about golf. I had a great day yesterday. I was at the Dallas Card Show all day on Saturday, and I just wanted to give you kind of my thoughts on the show, show you some of the things that I picked up, talk about some of the things that I did, people I met, and yeah. Overall, I would say the show was incredibly busy. Tons of more tables than ever. It's like every time the Dallas Card Show happens, it feels like there's more and more tables there, and it's just keeps growing and growing in terms of size. What I will tell you is there were a few things that I noticed that were interesting. Number one, first of all, I have zero footage of the show, and I'll tell you why I did that. I feel like that if I showed you video of the show floor, it looks the same as it did the last 8 times that I've been to the Dallas show. So there was nothing new to show. And so just to shoot the floor, everybody's seen what a show floor looks like. You guys all know what it looks like. So I didn't do that. But the vibe of the show was very different. It was talking to dealers. I must have talked to 6 to 10 dealers, I guess, throughout the course of the day. And the universal thing that they were telling me was there were a lot of people there, a lot of people trying to sell, and a lot of people trying to trade, and not a lot of people there to buy. So I thought that was a very interesting take, and it's not surprising given where we are economically in terms of inflation, in terms of the stock market's really taken a beating over the last 2 weeks. And believe it or not, all that matters, because if you feel like you have to, if you are spending more money, that's not a feeling. If you are spending more money on day-to-day things, you have less money for cards. If you feel there's a wealth effect, that if you feel less wealthy because of some paper loss in your 401k or in your investments, then your regular investments, then you just feel like you need to tighten up, like think, whoa, we need to tighten our belt here. Things are not as good, and they're not. That's just the reality of the world that we're in the moment. It's always everything's temporary. Ups are temporary, downs are temporary. It's always changing. But it was an interesting take to hear that from dealers over and over and over again. It was kind of telling of where we are in the hobby. And yet prices weren't reflecting that. Meaning, I think that so many people are into so many cards at prices that just don't exist anymore, that they are resistant to lowering prices. Meaning, there were a lot of cards that I saw yesterday. I did buy a fair amount of stuff, but there was a lot of cards yesterday that I would have bought at lower prices. Meaning, I'm not saying they weren't even necessarily fair. They were probably overpriced a little bit, but there was room for negotiation. But they're still not at the point. It's like I want to buy when there's a fire. I want to buy when just things are rock bottom. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient because I think that's coming. Point being, a dealer can sell every card at his table if you priced it at a certain amount. Right? It'll be just too good of a deal for someone to pass up. And dealers aren't willing to do that because they have probably too much into that card. If you own a card at $1,000, you don't want to sell it for $800, even though it might be selling for $900. There's a lot of resistance to that. And I get it. No one wants to just accept a loss. But there will be a time when that becomes true because they're going to need the money to fill their tank up with gas and buy food at the grocery store. So I'm hoping that's around the National. That's ideal, what's going to happen, but for me as a buyer. And so anyway, that was just the overall vibe. Higher prices. Again, still room for negotiation, bought a bunch of stuff. Lots of people. So attendance was great. It felt very busy all day, and that was good. So what did I get to do while I was there? I got to I have a bunch of notes because, I'm old, and I've got to do this video because John Keating, who was on my last episode of Golden Age of Cardboard and who I got to meet at the show yesterday for the first time, is coming over here today to have a fun look around and hang out and look at cards. But hung out with a lot of other people. I actually rode with, I took Ken Kinsley to the show. So I picked him up and took him up there. Beans Ball Card Blog, great guy. And hung out with Andy. Of course, he and Michael were set up at the show. And they were priced not to sell their cards either, which is fine. To each their own. But hanging out with Andy and Michael is always fun. Just can't talk enough about that. I got to hang out with Tom, who's my buddy, Vintage Lev, or Cooter Lev. I can't remember what he's calling himself on YouTube now. We shot a live episode of Hobby Hotline yesterday morning. So if you want to go watch Hobby Hotline, we were there. It was chaotic because there was so much ambient noise, and Whatnot was behind us with their corporate booth, and they were doing live breaks and people ringing cowbells, and that got old really quick. But we did that and then walked around the show all day, just hanging out with people and buying some stuff, talking to dealers. And then last night, we had a content creator dinner hosted by Dr. James Beckett. He's done that. A lot of Dallas shows he does that. This was only the second one that I've attended, but it was great. It's just a roundtable discussion. We pose different questions to each other, and those questions are being recorded by Dr. Beckett for his podcast, which is called Sports Card Insights. It's called Sports Cards. I can't look because it's on my phone. Dr. Beckett's podcast, which is great. You should listen to it if you don't. So much education there, so much knowledge. Definitely something to be looking for. Anyway, at that dinner, John Keating was there again, that 70s card show. John Newman was there from Sports Card Radio, good friend of mine. Brad Bethune, Texas Card Dude. Rich Klein was there, of course. Ken was there, Kinsley. Patrick from Radicards, and then Rob Veras was there, which was really cool. He's the owner of Burbank Sports Cards. So he flew in from California and was there. This was his first time at the Dallas show, and he had very positive things to say about the show. He loved it. And I'm actually going to coordinate with him and hopefully have him on as a guest on Golden Age of Cardboard in the next few weeks to talk about from a retail side. I've had dealers on that deal at shows, and maybe get from a retail shop owner of that, like the largest card shop, I think, in the United States anyway, certainly the world, I would think. Burbank Sports Cards, talk to him and get his take on the vintage world. That'd be really fun. So great time. That lasted, 2.5 hours. So we just all hung out and talked cards and talked the hobby. And so again, all those conversations will be on Dr. Beckett's website. So the overall feeling that I left with was certainly one of camaraderie with my friends. I mean, let's be honest, going to a card show for me is the best hobby experience that I have. I love it more than going to shops for sure. I love it more than shopping on the internet, wherever that might be, eBay or MySlabs or whatever. There's a connection and a fun to going to a show and hunting for cards at a show and digging through stuff and looking at showcases. So going to a show is the funnest thing for me. But if I'm being completely transparent about how I was feeling yesterday, I was almost bored about halfway through the day. I don't know how many Dallas card shows I've been to. And it's not the show's fault. It was just maybe kind of where I am with things and tired of high prices, just looking around going, yep, I'd love to buy that, but I'm not paying that, So look, I'm admitting that there might be some, inward looking that I need to do, some looking in the mirror at who the real problem is. And it might be me, that I'm just like, I walked around a couple times. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Walked through the whole show a couple times, kept going, hung out with Andy at his table and stuff like that. But I wasn't discouraged. It was just like, been there, done that. And I don't like that feeling. I want to, and I'm excited. Like, it's kind of weird. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but the reality is I had a great time. And I would do it, like, knowing what I know, I would still do it all over again today if I could. Um, but, and I'd do it tomorrow, I guess is probably an even better way to say it. I love going to shows. But I think my bitterness, I don't know if that's the right word, tired, I'm just tired maybe of things being the way they are. I don't know. Just talking through it here, guys. I don't, I don't know. Talking through my feelings. Enough of that. Enough of that. Let's, I did get some really cool stuff. So let me flip this around, show you guys what I got yesterday. Talk to you in a minute. All right, here we go with the pickups. Sorry, I was talking about like negative Nancy there. That's, generally not my style. I don't like to be that way. And I'm not. I had a great time. Oh no, you got to go to a show and hang out with his friends and all that. Yeah, I get it. Woe is me, right? So I had a great time, and I did get some cool stuff. Here we go with the first thing. I'm going to show the autographs first that I got, and then I'll show just the regular slabs. So I picked this up, this Edgar Martinez 2014 Panini Prism Purple. It was a throw-in with another card that I wanted. I was trying to bundle a little bit to get a better deal on another card. So I kind of said, hey, what if I get this too? And on-card autograph, numbered to 99. I mean, of a Hall of Famer, that's great. It's already slabbed up, so numbered to 99. So yeah, pick that up. I'll try to tell you prices too, as I remember them. I think I paid $25 for the Martinez. I did not pay sticker for anything. So Tony Perez here, 1968 tops, already slabbed up. I paid 40. He had it marked at 60. I paid 40 for that. So that's good, considering the card. It's already slabbed. That's a good deal for a Hall of Famer like that. This one will be easy to remember because I let the sticker still on it because it's in a top loader. Harman Killebrew, 1968 tops, All-Star. Went up to the guy, and it was, it has $25 on it, which is already pretty darn cheap for this. But I said, hey, how about 15? He said, no, it's already a good deal, and we agreed on $20. So I paid a $20 bill, the cost of less than the cost of a blaster nowadays, for a signed player era card of Harman Killebrew. I saw this. I was walking around with John Keating, who's a big Carl Yastrzemski fan, and I saw this card, and I loved it. I mean, I absolutely love. I miss Upper Deck so bad, as many of us do. This was marked at 100. I think that was this card and the Martinez, actually. So I've actually paid 100 for the pair. So for that and that. So I think the way I did it in my head is 80 for the Yastrzemski and 20 for the Martinez. Although it doesn't matter. I paid 100 for the pair, and they were marked at 140, I think. Anyway, Yastrzemski is great. It's an on-card autograph, Upper Deck Premier, hallmarks, great set. It's numbered to 18, which I didn't really even realize that till after I bought it. That's just really cool. Carl Yastrzemski stuff is way underrated. And the biggest autograph I got a huge autograph here. I'm gonna pull this out of the top loader, or the protective thing it's in. But I saw this. This is going to be a good story, so I'm just going to put it up here. It will speak for itself a lot. Hank Aaron, 2018, tops 5-star, the blue version, which is numbered to 25. And I saw this, and the guy, I bundled it with another card. He had 600 on it, which is a little pricey. So I looked around at his table. He didn't have a ton of other stuff that I was interested in. I'll mention the card that I bought with it when I get to it here in a minute. But I passed. We came to a price that I was like, it was $450 for this card and another card. And I said, it's not terrible, but I'm gonna walk away from this. And I go 3 or 4 rows, and all I can think about is this 5-star auto of Hank Aaron, and the fact that I only have one other 5-star autograph of Hank Aaron. And this is the last year Hank Aaron signed for 5-star. And I just couldn't stop thinking about the card. I'm just going, man, I'm going to regret not buying that at some point. And so I got 2 or 3, like I said, 3 or 4 rows down the way, and I went back and I said, okay, I'll do it. Because do you still have it? Yes. Okay. I just, one of those things, you never see them, and when you do, people just want crazy money for them, and so like I just, even though I paid more than even the last one of these sold at $450 for 2 cards. The last one sold for a little over $400. I just had the money and wanted to buy it. So that was my biggest autograph pickup, and I love it. And then I started, now we'll get into just all the slabs that I bought. This was a last minute pickup. Literally, I was talking to a dealer at a table, and I saw this, and I'm like, he had it marked for 20 bucks maybe. And I thought I had paid 10. I didn't. I paid 15 for that. And I'm like, okay, a Jeter prospect card from 94. You know, if I ever do the Jeter run or whatever, this would be just a good one to have in a mint 9. So I bought that. This guy, I bought this 74 Topps RBI leaders for my 4-decade set in an excellent mint 6. I paid 10 bucks for that. So there are, you would think that, I think over time, these types of deals are going to be more and more prevalent. You're going to see more and more cheaper slabs because people just need to move inventory. And so 10 bucks for 2 Hall of Famers, sure. This one was not $10. 1967 Topps Harman Killebrew. My goal going into the show was trying to finish these little player runs that I only need 1 or 2 cards on, and I was going to diligently look for them, and even some years where, if I can find, a certain card to finish off a year run, that was important too. Just in terms of, hey, be looking for this stuff, don't like actively looking. Harman Killebrew, this is the last card I need for the Harman Killebrew run. This guy had a beautiful 7. I mean, the color on this, the centering, I was like, good grief, that's a gorgeous card. And he had it marked at 135, which was already not crazy, but I ended up paying $100 for it. And happy I did that. That's a gorgeous card. So 100 bucks for that. Then this was just, again, the leaders cards for the 4-decade set. I'm much less concerned with condition than just having them. And so if I can find them, and finding them slabbed is the hardest part to begin with, because nobody's slabbing this stuff anymore, really. And they're getting eaten up and chewed up and put into collections. And so I found this with Clemente and Aaron on it. It's incredibly off center, I know, but it's a leader's card. It's, again, way less important to me, the condition, but just to have it slabbed, so, and to have one. So Clemente Aaron on that. For MK, the mark is actually this little X right up here on the corner, which is kind of funny. But there's the batting leaders for 1964, if you want to pause that. So yeah, that was 15 bucks for that. This was the card that got thrown in with the Aaron, and so I paid $450 for the pair. Split it up in your mind however you want. But this is a 4. It's got 3 Hall of Famers on it. Banks, Aaron, and Matthews. So 61 nationally, or 60, well, it's from 61 Topps, but it's the 60 home run National League leaders. Yeah, he had it marked at 50, which I thought was ridiculous for a leaders card from 1961. But I did not pay that. Just put them all together. This was a card that I walked by several times and passed on. And I'm glad I ultimately went back and got it, because this is a 58 Topps Brooks Robinson. So 2nd year Brooks. Great card. Card I've been looking for a long time. I'm getting really close on the Brooks run. I still need a couple, but this is one I need. And this was in a 2. And it's got this, you can see it in the light there, this crease right there. And it's almost enough where it bothers me, but it was 50 bucks. I mean, it was marked at 60. I paid 50. Like, okay. I mean, finding these. It's a 2, you know, but it's pretty decently centered. And the big thing, reason it's a 2 is that crease, but I don't know. It's a pretty good looking card, so I'll take it. All right, you guys are gonna totally laugh at me. This is the first time I've done this at anywhere. I've been looking for this card because Minoso, new Hall of Famer, 53 Bowman color, one of my favorite sets. This is a GMA slab 5. I ended up paying $50 for it. Guy had marked at $105. I paid $50 for this, and I figured, I told the guy, like, I'm gonna crack this almost immediately and send it off to PSA. But I love this card. It's such a great image of Minoso. But look at this, like the card literally slides around in the slab. Like, that's just not good, I wouldn't think, for the edges and stuff. So I won't do that anymore, but this is getting cracked. I've never done that actually before. I've never bought a slab with the pure intention of cracking it and getting it out and sending it off to PSA. And I factored that into kind of the cost. Like, this has become a very popular card since Minoso's been elected to the Hall of Fame. So I just figured I'll take it while I can get it and send it off. But that wasn't the only 53 Bowman color card that I bought. I finally, for this card, it feels like forever. The Bowman color Duke Snider from 53. I got this in a 5. This is one of those cards that just popped. Super popular card because Duke's sitting there smiling, the blue background with the Dodger colors and his blue eyes and all that. So I saw it, and it was a reasonable price. I paid kind of fair market value for this just because I've been wanting it to fill up my 53 Bowman color. I now only need the Gil Hodges card for 53 Bowman color, if you count the Minoso that I have it. And so just glad to own it and pick that up. So thank you everybody for watching. That is it from the Dallas Card Show in May 2022. We'll talk to you guys soon, and keep collecting.